What's up everybody, this is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13, and today I've got another monster truck, this time a 2007 Dodge Ram. The client originally brought this vehicle to me because he was having trouble installing a new aftermarket radio into it, and upon my initial observation of the truck, I absolutely refused to even touch the radio unless he gave me a blank check agreement to rewire everything else that was electronic and aftermarket on the vehicle. The client was super cool and understood and agreed, as he had just purchased the truck and had a lot of concerns himself about the quality and craftsmanship of the electronics installations already. Starting from the front to the back, these are the Alpharex Nova headlights. He purchased them and installed them. However, something is icky with the vehicle wiring and that the high beam and the low beam are reversed. So that was a quick and easy enough fix in order to rewire those so they would appropriately work. He's also got the Morimoto XB LED fog lights, which he purchased and installed. The wheels on this thing are absolutely beautiful, and the powder coating work of the suspension is a wonderful, wonderful job. And as I have told him, that's about the only thing that was done properly on this truck. So credit where credit's due, that is well done. It does have these single color wheel rings on all of the wheels. The wiring installation of that job was horrendous, so I completely removed all that wiring and reinstalled it. It also has the motorized steps from Amp Research, and so those were really cool. However, again, the wiring on it was absolutely atrocious, so I had to pull out all of the wiring and reinstall all of the electrical side of it. There's also a multitude of rock lights. We have 3 rock lights per wheel well. Not that you'll be able to see, but there's also 3 rock lights underneath on each side along the frame rails, and then one lone little guy up in the front. All of those rock lights were rewired to a single illuminated rocker switch that is now installed in the cabin, and this other rocker switch is all for the wheel rings. So as you can see, we now have the rock lights underneath the vehicle that are lit up, also in the wheel well, and also the wheel rings are all lit up. He wanted them on separate switches so that he could control them individually and did not want any Bluetooth control. So here we go. And of course, a very important aspect is that it has an indicator LED so that you never accidentally leave them on. There's also a train horn installation under this thing. What a surprise, right? And equally as unsurprising is the fact that the installation job on this thing was absolutely ridiculously terrible. So pulled out all the wiring for that and redid that appropriately. The train horn button has been relocated to the center stack. Woo, shit, that's loud. And is on a live 12-volt circuit so that it can go off at any point in time that you so desire. He also provided a new steering wheel that I replaced for him. I installed these Morimoto license plate light assemblies for him. I also wired up these LED pod assemblies to his reverse lights, which I replaced with the profile peak bulbs. However, we will be readdressing those next week with a different product and different installation. This aftermarket fuel pump assembly over there, which was probably installed by a performance shop, and no hating on performance shops, this is not what they do, but of course it was wired absolutely improperly, so I rewired all of that as well. And for the first time apparently since this dude has owned this truck, it actually works the way it's supposed to, so that's good news. There is also of course a tuner module that is up there and plugged into the OBD port. I had to rewire that as well to a switched ignition source so that would behave appropriately. And now we're ending where the project initially started, which is with the radio installation. This is the Kenwood Exelon floating tablet style. I don't sell Kenwood, I don't know much about it. However, it now works, and that was the original goal. There was a lot of botched wiring, both in the kick panels and behind the dash itself, that the previous people had cut into and destroyed, and so I refurbished all that. So now we're back to running on the stock audio amplifier for the mids and highs of the front. This is a pretty cool radio utilizing the Maestro RR installation interface piece. However, I do not believe any of the gauges actually work on this because this is, like I said, a 2007. However, it does still do a lot of really cool things, so I'm sure this is the radio out there for some people. Speaking of audio work, let's talk about what I removed from this truck. This enclosure is actually kind of worth a damn. It's got Scar audio, which isn't my personal preference, but is really wildly popular in Florida. This was behind the seat, and it actually performs pretty well. What does not perform well is this absolute abortion, which is just all pro audio equipment. Good old PRV flea market crazy-zap. All of which was running off of this garbage amplifier. This was the joke of a 4-channel amplifier running everything else, and of course the absolutely unnecessary EQ to tune this garbage. I don't understand the point. But then you got, here's the old steering wheel and a bunch of other bits and bobs that I have removed and replaced in just little parts and stuff that he provided to me, and of course, the external crossover. What a joke. I hate this pro audio stuff, and that was an absolute pleasure to be able to remove all of this. A good purge of the soul, if you will. vehicle. What I told the client when I first saw this truck and looked it over was that basically there was a lot of money but absolutely no skill in this vehicle. And this happens to a lot of people when they purchase new vehicles and they don't know the history of the modifications to the vehicle. Thankfully, the client was extremely understanding and very supportive and really agreed with the whole idea, and so he gave me the free rein to go through and fix everything. And now we've got no fire hazards, and ideally everything will work as intended. For reference, this is the pile of wires that I have removed out of this thing. The majority of it is audio related, but a lot of it was just all of those other accessories and this absolutely worthless little Bluetooth controller for the rock lights. It's just a bunch of garbage. But the whole point is that all of this was absolutely unnecessary, and a large chunk of it was actually underneath the dash. So it's all out, it's all clean, everything's properly fused. Speaking of properly fused, this is the new battery setup right here. Unfortunately, the only before picture that I took was a story on Instagram, but that will at least give you an idea of how much clutter has been removed and how everything is actually properly wired and installed now to the best of my abilities, given what I was given. There's no more butt connectors underneath the car or underneath the hood. There's no more T-taps in this thing. Everything is at least heat shrink and soldered and is looking a lot better, which means we're gonna have performance and reliability. This is a pretty wild job considering it was supposed to originally be about a 4-hour radio install and it turned into a 4-day marathon. But like I said, the client's extremely pleased with the quality of craftsmanship of the work that I provided him, and I really genuinely am pleased to finally be able to work on a truck like this, which are notoriously horrendously done, and actually put my personal detail-oriented touch on it to make sure that the work behind the scenes actually is up to par of the stuff that you can see from the street, which is, oh, look at all this nonsense, right? It's a pretty ridiculous truck, no lie. Don't want to forget to mention that I got this cute little adorable Kenwood backup camera there as well. And I have no comment on this tailpipe. That's all I gotta say about this truck right now. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. Thank you so much for watching. I'm super excited to have this project done and out of the shop so I can get back to doing some headlight builds. But let's give a little bit of credit to the paint job on this thing, or probably more likely is the paint correction service that he had somebody do on this thing, because hey guys, it's me. I'll talk to you later. See ya.